This anime is just so absolutely fantastic. So, this episode, episode number 3 of The Genius Prince, introduces a brand new character to us named Loa. Now, Loa ends up coming and hailing from the Empire, which is basically like the overarching overlord of all these smaller countries, kind of on this specific side of the continent, to where Prince Wein and his specific country reside. And we find out this episode a few different things, but the reason that I think this anime is so good is everything ties together, and that's what's really important about anime and especially when they're doing like some storytelling, character development, and like plot engagement. Is one of the things that a lot of anime loses is when they're trying to do like a lot of action or just like harem or ecchi, or if they're trying to accomplish a certain thing, a lot of times they leave behind world building and character development, and they do that in place of other things, whether that be comedy, whether that be action, whether that be drama, whatever it is, they pull the viewers like out of that. Or a lot of times what anime tends to do is they completely focus on the protagonist. So, like, let's say this is about Prince Wein, right? And they just focus on him, and all the other characters become kind of like NPCs in a video game. They're if they weren't there, you wouldn't miss them. But what really good anime ends up doing is they have your protagonists, like in this case, Prince Wein, but then the characters surrounding them, they begin building them out slowly along with the protagonist and along with the main character of said show and said anime or whatever we're trying to watch. So with Prince Wein specifically, we got to kind of like get a deeper dive into Ninum. This episode, we figured out, with Ninum, how she's kind of been along with the prince his whole entire time. She was with him through the Royal Academy. She had her own devices, and she had her own struggles when she was in said academy because of the race that she hails from. But we found out that she was ultra powerful this episode, and she was able to duel someone to kind of bring her the way that people view her, or at least her race and her specifically, in the academy, to make her days easier, so much so that she even caught the attention of other nobles and stuff. But even when they graduated outside of that, she stuck with the prince. Then this episode, because of everything that ends up happening, you have the prince's sister finally ask her, like, hey, if my brother got married off, would you be angry? Would you be mad? I always thought he would marry you. And she puts it there to the reasons that she cannot marry him or become a concubine or consort kind of thing. But she basically said that she'll always be there. And it's because kind of Prince Wein, I guess the relationship that he has with her, he's always put her higher than both of those positions. Now, there should be something additional there because there's a lot of love between Wein and between Ninum. So I'm interested to see on how their relationship ends up developing more as they get older and as the anime kind of like unfolds through certain situations that end up happening. But I thought that was super important. So we got to learn more about Ninum. Then with the character Loa that gets introduced, we originally in the start of the episode, Wein ends up having a flashback for when he was originally at the academy, and they introduced this character and everything that's happening. And the reason that I love this anime so much is it's so good, just 3 episodes in, is everything that's happening right now with Loa being there, with Loa basically forcing his hand, with Loa trying to get him to take over the empire, with Loa forcing his hand on marriage. It's all because of it's Wein's own fault, because he spouted off nonsense in his mouth, which wasn't necessarily nonsense, but when he did it without necessarily thinking of the repercussions it would have. But he basically at one time told her 2 different things. One, he told her after the academy, you should get married. And she ends up telling him, okay, well, I'm going to go and pay you a visit after we graduate. So she basically let him know ahead of time, like, all right, I'm going to go find you. You want to marry? You think I should get married? Well, that's going to be you. She basically let him know, but not in those specific words. So A, boom, that's his own fault. Then you have the B situation, which is he's now kind of being dragged into what she wants to do. And it's because at the end of the episode, we get shown the conversation that Prince Wein and Loa were having when he was telling her, if you're unhappy with things, if you're dissatisfied, if you're not happy with the way things are going in the kingdom, change them by force, start a war. And she asked him, like, well, would you help me, kind of thing. He's like, absolutely not, I have no desire. But then he tells her, but if you were to come and force me, like, if you were to come and force my hand and make me help you, if I can't get away, then I just might have to help you, kind of thing. And because of that, now that's what Loa's planning to do. She's planning to ask up front to see if he'll end up doing what she wants and help her out, whether that be in marriage, whether that be political marriage, and help her out her situation, or if she has, or she also has like behind the scene pieces moving in case the upfront approach doesn't work, so she can force his hand and get his help along with 𝐼𝐼 as well. And that might be certain, like, her navigating through his sister, that might be her navigating through his kingdom. Whatever it is, she has certain things planned to kind of force him to help her as well. Now, what I'm wondering is what's going to end up happening is Prince Wein going to end up finding out about like what she's actually trying to accomplish and go along with it? Is he going to try and run away and try not to help but be forced into it, kind of like what he said that he would be? And with the whole marriage stuff, is 𝐼𝐼 gonna allow that? I know that she had this whole speech about being his heart, etc., which is all true from what we've seen so far, but is she really going to allow that to happen when everything's all said and done? Is this gonna be one of those situations where she allows it to happen but she still sticks with him? Is she gonna stick with him but then not like in a romantic way? There's so many questions that we have going forward, but the thing that makes this anime fantastic is that we have those questions and all those things. And I love Prince Wein as a character. I love 𝐼𝐼, and this new Loa character, I like her quite a bit. She seems mischievous and deceitful, and she does seem, they keep saying it in the anime, oh, we're two peas in a pod, and it seems extremely true that her and Prince Wein are very similar in a lot of different areas. The only thing that is a non-similarity is how lazy Prince Wein is and how he tries to weasel his way out of everything. But as he's weaseling, because he's trying to surface level, he's trying to keep an appearance, he keeps being very successful at the things he does, because he's trying to appear like this type of person, but really he's like, I'm trying to run away. So we're going to end up seeing what ends up happening as we get into episode 4 and we move on. But let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comments below. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the things I said. Let me know what you think about the anime, character building, world building so far. Let me know if you like Loa, and let me know if you think he'll end up with 𝐼𝐼 or if he'll go along with Loa in the comments below. With all that being said, I'll see you guys next week for episode number 4, and thank you for joining me for another episode of The Genius's Prince. Peace out, guys.